Just we are going to the same component that we have created today. The trans change it. So we have provided a dedicated class to this component. Then we have created mobiles. I provided the key attribute create structure, and we have enabled the web service and dependent object sim. We have provided these contents, and then search mobile. Structure that I have given is the consumer ID, mobile ID, purchase date, slider, and SIM plan. So even I have the details of child as well. Yeah, and the result of this query I am defining as a mobiles. So it should provide me a mobiles details. So the result object can be a root object. The result object is object. The result object can be a combination of attributes, and we can create a new root object here, and we can assign the respective query result object here as a result object for this respective search mobiles dynamic query. So every query will have a resulted object. So if I am querying what resulted structure and resulted data need to be fetched, and so this is a dynamic query object. So what's the root object? Because fetching data will be done through the root objects, so we need to define like what is the root object for the search mobiles. Web service enabled. So for the feature, see here we can define what are all the query operators that we are going to use. You can uncheck them and you can check. As of now, just we are checking all of them and we are saving it. So now I am done with GENIL object modeling. It's ready for me. In my model, I have a root object named mobiles, and dependent object sim, and another object dynamic query object search mobiles. And as we discussed, not only the objects should have relationship. Here we have defined the relationship as this is a root object. So generally for the search we will not be having any relationships with others, but the root object dependent object should have. So just we have created high ratio. So just we have created a complete GENIL where the root object is a mobiles, dependent object, and search mobiles, where it has attributes as consumer ID, mobile ID, purchase date, SIM provider, and SIM plan. Now I want to create between mobiles and SIM. Here SIM is a dependent object and mobile is a parent object. So for that, expand root object mobile. This is a source one. Since this is a parent, yes, we have to go there and select the relations, right click, relation. Same. See here the cardinality is 1. So for one request I can have multiple childs, or I may not have. That's why it has the cardinality is 0 to n, means minimum, no, means the data might not be there and it might not exist, or it's up to n. So any number of entries might be there for one entry of mobiles. Generally there are duals, so it should be 0 to 2, but we are taking it as in a generic way, so we are making it as a 0 to n. And the relationship type is aggregation. So my end user, yeah, he may want the SIM details or may not want sometimes. So every time he will not be going to the SIM details. He will be going to the mobile details, and he skipped from there. So I am putting it as aggregation. That is nothing but like a L1. So he may go to the SIM details. If that is a mandatory, then we need to put it as a composition. We cannot have it as an association, because root association with other root object or access object, but not with the dependent objects. The relationship between a root object and dependent object, is a aggregation or composition. Now, yeah, I am assigning it. So my source object is mobiles. Mobile is having a relationship with SIM, and relationship type is aggregation, and the cardinality means existence of one mobile may not have SIM, because the consumer may buy SIM here in these mobiles, or he would like to buy somewhere. That is also pretty much possible as per the business. So yeah. Now the relationship name is SIM relationship. So this is the name that I have for this relationship, and I am saving it. So I think you are clear with the creation of root object, creation of dependent object SIM, creation of search mobile, and creation of relationship for this example. If you are okay with this, we can go to the another level.
Devinder, what are the options in cardinality? What are different values available?
Sorry.
What are the options in cardinality?
Cardinality, yes, you can see here 0 to 1, my parent may not exist, maximum 1. 0 to n, that's nothing but I may not have any values, or number of values, it reaches to n, and 1 to 1, here it is. So minimum is 1 and the maximum is 1, and the final one is 1 to n. Means minimum, the occurrence of minimum is 1 and n. So these are all the cardinalities for the source object. Assigned 0 to minimum occurrence is 0 and maximum occurrence is 1 for that. If we assign that as 0 to 1, then there will be no sims, or maximum it will be 1. Are you okay with this explanation?
Yes, I'm following you.
Yeah. The one is 0 to n, means for our example may not have sim or may have number of sims. That n is for now it is 2, but it may become 4 or 5, whatever. The third option is 1, maximum 1. Generally it is represent 1 double colon 1, means minimum is a 1, maximum is a 1. And final one is a 1 to n, means minimum occurrence should be and maximum occurrence should be the n. Generally see composition we need to have that. For a composition need to have existence of a SIM card. Yeah, for aggregation, yeah, should be the 0 to n, because that not depend on the source object. Yeah. Anyhow, we will discuss about the cardinality later when it comes to the web UI part, separately with a separate section. What is a source object, get object? What is the cardinality between these two things? Yeah.
So, Devinder, one more question, and
Yes.
that is, if I should wait for more advanced topics. If my client or customer has to search for SIM cards,
Okay.
and then basically then out mobile info is. So
Rishi,
basically
your voice is
on
breaking. Your voice is breaking.
I'll change my carry on for right now. I'll ask you the question later.
Okay, if that is related to our current edition, you can ask me right now. Yeah, if we can pass till the end of the class, yes. Pass till the end of the class.
Yeah, I think I can wait. Carry on.
Yeah. Okay. So now we have put a relationship type as addition, and we have assigned SIM as an object for our source mobiles. So we are done with the GENIL model editor, means GENIL modeling, where we have created the objects and their relationships. So we will be moving to the another transaction, GENIL bool browser. So this is a transaction where a functional and technical guy will be testing a lot of component and GENIL interaction layers results. So just I went to the GENIL bool browser, and I have provided the component name that we have created. Just let us see. See, it has search mobiles. What is a search mobile? Just we will open the just I am opening the another GENIL model editor. So just I am going for the display to make things clear for you. See here, search mobiles is a dynamic query object, and you can view the same here. So whatever the query objects that you create or that we create, that will be displayed under model browser search objects. So that is the result of these button new searches. So this will be having not only dynamic query objects, will have a query objects as well. So in case we have a search mobiles, just double click on this. This is what is called query parameter that I want is 2, 3, 25, 35 for my respective search. So I haven't used match type and drop selection parameters all and selection hints ever. So I'm not aware of these three, but yeah, extensively we used maximum hits. So this is a, and the underneath one is a selection parameter. Don't get confused with the name dynamic query parameter. This is a selection parameter table. So in this selection, you can select the meter. So consumer ID, mobile ID, SIM plan, and SIM provider. So consumer ID equals, let us say, some 147. So you can try to find this. So this is a selection parameter. You are selecting, you are providing a selection like consumer ID equal 147. So this is a selection parameter, and this is a query parameter. Yes, you can use the maximum of for that query result. So I want these many hits only. So can somebody say like for this structure, consumer ID, mobile ID, purchase date, SIM plan, and SIM. Why not we have the other fields? Yes.
Yeah, we got this from our dynamic query object. At when we created the dynamic query object, we have attached one structure.
Yeah.
It is picking up the fields from there.
Okay. Yeah. You are absolutely right. Yes. This is from the other screen that I will show you. Yes. Just yeah. This is the screen where we have created a dynamic query object search mobiles. For that we have provided the attribute structure name, that is GSM search details. Yes. If you double click, whatever structure that you have provided here is our search attributes, the GENIL bool browser. Yeah. And this is the resulted one. So once we fire the query, we will get a result here at the list browser. Based on that, we will be selecting what the result that we want to see, that we will see now. So is it okay for you? This is like it provides group of search objects, dynamic query search objects, and provides query parameters, and this provides a selection parameters.
Yes.
Yeah. Can I go ahead? Okay. Yeah. So this is about the search object. But the another ones. So here we have root objects. So we can create a root object with the help of new objects. So whatever the root object for that respective component, zmob component available, that will be displayed here. And if I double click on this, it will allow me to create a root object. Means we can create through a web UI as well as through the GENIL Bowl browser. So you can provide some entries here. Maybe purchase date, it will take in YYYY MMDD format. Yes. Yeah, creation failed because we haven't implemented anything in those respective methods. So we can create objects, roots through, like double click on the root object, double click on these, the selected root object. Yeah, parameters have been provided. So how these parameters has came? So just this is also through the that we have defined in the GENIL model editor for a root object. Nothing but our create structure. So to create a root object, this is the structure that we have defined. Right.
Devinder, so
Yes,
in real time, this GENIL Bowl browser is used mainly for testing purpose, right? From people. So
exactly.
I believe this, yeah, only for testing purpose, right? This one.
Yeah, exactly. Only for testing purpose, and if there is standard functionality that is available at the underneath level, but it is not available at the web UI level, on the presentation level. So we will go show you these screens. I mean, in this GENIL Bowl browser, yes, there is a search parameter that SAP has already been provided. These, for example, let's say search mobiles. These are all the parameters. Can you show the same to me on a web UI?
Okay.
One, and the next, as you told, the testing purpose. Like, okay, so you have developed a new GENIL component. Now you doesn't want to expose it on a web UI. Just you want to make sure things are fine. You will say to the functional guy, boss, go to the GENIL Bowl browser and can you test it from your side? So functional guy also has to know the functionality of GENIL Bowl browser.
Okay.
Yeah. That's the way how, I mean, is used in a real. And for our case, we are not with UI, means presentation layer as of now. So we take this as our presentation layer till we complete GENIL and Bowl. Then when we move to the web UI, then we would be using presentation extensively. So till that time, till we finish GENIL layer and the Bowl layer, our presentation is GENIL Bowl. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
So just I am opening a PPT. We just would like to show. Yeah. Yeah, I think you can view the screen, right?
Yes.
Yes.
So that Bowl versus GENIL is our GENIL Bowl browser here. So that's why the transaction name was GENIL Bowl browser. So it's upon the GENIL Bowl layers. And when we are sending a request, for example, we selected a find, GENIL bool. Yes. Find here. So it goes back to the GENIL layer and sends all the data. Boss, search mobiles is my search object and my query parameter and my selection parameter is so and so, and I would like to get the result for this. So from GENIL bool browser, but you need to have a question like how it got the search parameter name, right? Search options. Okay, GENIL bool browser will hit the so what in a first screen what we have provided. Just let me come back. Let me show you GENIL bool browser. So I'm coming back. GENIL bool browser transaction. In a first entry, we are providing the component name. In a first entry, we are providing the component name. After providing the component name, and when GENIL bool browser is getting GENIL object model details. Okay. I'm repeating it. So we have provided a component name for GENIL bool browser. So once we execute this based on the component name, it gets a complete GENIL object model details. This is the dynamic query object. This is the root object, and these are the objects. That data will be available to the GENIL browser. And who sends this data? Yeah, bool will send the data to the GENIL model. So the first thing is bool hits GENIL for object modeling, and it gets the object model. So initially we have created object model in a GENIL model editor. Whatever we had, that is available to the GENIL layer only. But for the first his respective bool, GENIL complete GENIL object model, and it keeps with it. That's why diagram we have provided like a common object model is available for bool, and name will be shared to the GENIL bool browser. Are you fine with?
Yes.
Okay. So now when I hit find button, when I hit a find button, in a new searches, when I hit, I have provided, let us say an example, consumer ID. I want someone. When I say find, just we will assume what happens. So here again GENIL bool browser will request code to get a search data, and this core object will interact with the interfaces GENIL layer, the interfaces of GENIL. There is a respective interface which provides search criteria. So that respective interface will be triggered, and in that interface a respective method get dynamic query result will be fired. But since that is an interface, it doesn't have any implementation in it. Let me know if you are not okay with them. So core will try to interact with the interface, the respective interface responsible for finding the search result. And in that interface, a dedicated method is available search. But it's an interface. Since interface, we don't have any implementation in it. So somebody has to implement it. Now we have a dedicated class. I have created a dedicated class. To create a component to define a component mob in SPRO GENIL objects basic settings, we have provided a implementation class as some XXX, and that class has a super class CLCF GENIL abstract component which implements respective interface. So we need to find which method provides dynamic. This is a dynamic query, so which provides the dynamic result. Let us go to the class. So I am going to the 24. I don't know the class name, so how to find the class name? I can go to the basic settings, or it's a class builder. Just a minute. So I don't know the class name, so just I am going to the GENIL model editor. So ZMob, yes. So I can get a implementation class name here as well. There are some ways where we can find the name of the implementation class. I'm going to the C24. Yes, I'm providing the name and I'm saying display. Since it is filterist, that's why the superclass methods are not available here. And just one more information I want to give it to you is interfaces. These are the interfaces which tool is calling. So there is responsible for providing a data to the bowl layer. It provides a data, whereas model, it provides the object modeling to the bowl layer. So dynamic metadata, it provides GENIL object models metadata, and DSIL, it has came up with the 7.0 enhancement package 1, and few of the methods in a INCLAY has been deprecated. So D stands for deleting the object, S stands for saving the object, I stands for inserting the objects, L for locking the objects. So for delete, save, insert, locking, yeah, we would be using if GENIL APPL alternative DSIL interface methods. Another interface came up with 7.0 enhancement package 1 is if GENIL persistency. So because of these, we would be able to define root object, dependent object, dynamic query object in a GENIL model editor. So it was, that's why we need to, if we want to create GENIL object model in 7.0, we need to follow a different way. It doesn't have GENIL model editor. All about the interfaces. And if we go back to our screen, the PPT screen, yes, core is interacting with the interfaces of GENIL. These interfaces are nothing but the interfaces that I have shown now. Okay. Any questions?
So Devinder, the search, modify, save, create, and those are not methods, are they? What do you call them?
Sorry. Yeah, whatever I have shown here, you are pointing to the that I am showing, right?
Correct. When you talked about interface methods, you showed us those 5 interface methods in the system.
5 interfaces, yes.
Oh, those are 5 interfaces, and the interface methods are these, right? Search, modify, save, create, model.
Yes,
Is that
yes.
right?
These are the few methods that has been provided by the. These are the few methods. There are a lot of more in those interfaces.
Okay.
But these are the main interfaces that generally we would be using. This is a model. This is for getting the complete modeled GENIL modeled information to the BOL. Because BOL provides the information BOL browser or web UI screen. Okay.
Okay.
So the model means what we are discussing, GENIL object model. That is nothing but group of GENIL objects like root object, access object, dependent object, and modeling means the relationship between those objects. We have defined everything in a GENIL component set within the GENIL layer actually, but it should also be exposed to the BOL layer, because the GENIL object model is meant for a data storage, temporary data storage at the runtime. Okay, the metadata, that same modeling should be available in a BOL. Now SAP CRM came, I don't want to put different data modeling. Data model is nothing but the structure, the data resides at runtime. So I don't want to separate for BOL and separate for GENIL. It should be a uniform so that there won't be any confusion for that. So modeling will be available through the model method. Yeah, we have to see in which method these respective model means not the exact name of the model, get model properties methods that we will be having. For create, we might having create object, create dependent object. So just to show you a representation, yes, we have shown like this. Means there are couple of methods for search, there are for modify, for save, and for create, and for model. And those are methods of and since we have in our dedicated class we have implements, so we need to redefine it. If we haven't redefined, then what will be the problem? That we will discuss. Just I am going to that respective builder. Yes. Yes. Okay. So these are the interfaces which are responsible to send the data to the bowl, as well as which is responsible to provide features to the GENIL layer. Let us see the methods, few important methods. See, these are the methods of those interfaces which has implemented. Okay, don't worry that we need to implement all these methods. No, we are not going to do that. Who is going to do that? Yes, that need to be said. So see here, dynamic query result. For our case right now, get dynamic query result will be fired when I say in a GENIL bowl browser. In a GENIL bowl browser, I am selecting query search and I am providing query parameters maximum hit as 2, and some parameter, for example consumer ID blah 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 equal to 21147, and when I click on a find button, yes, the interface try to call this get dynamic query result, which should be implemented. Yeah, any questions till now? Oh, so I am putting questions for myself. So do we need to redefine all these things, or else somebody has redefined the implemented these methods? Yes, it has done by CLWC of GENIL abstract component. So this component class has implemented all the methods. Just let's go through that one. So CLWCF GENIL abstract component, it has a superclass CLCRM GENIL abstract 2. See the naming convention of these both classes. CLCRM GENIL abstract component 2 CRM. Here CLWCF GENIL abstract component. So for 7.0 CRM 7.0 Web UI, if you want to create a dedicated class, you need to use CLCRM GENIL abstract component 2. Yes, any questions? You will not be, you don't have CLWCF GENIL abstract component in. This is how the upgradation goes, 7.0 to 7.01 till 7.0. Yes, the base class is CLCRM GENIL abstract component 2. Now they have came up with the WCF GENIL abstract component features. They got this CLCRM GENIL abstract component 2 is a super class. It got all the service provided by the CLCRM GENIL abstract component 2, and it has added few to that, and now in 7.01 they have came up with the CLWCF GENIL abstract component. If you use all the features of CLWCF GENIL abstract component, yes, we need to provide it as a super class for our dedicated. Right. Any? Oh, right. Now I would like to get dynamic query result. First of all, for implementing it, I should know what is expected query result. Just we will see that. We need to see the import and export parameters. See, when I try to get up that, it has prompted me if so and so method is implemented in TF. If you haven't implemented in Z's GENIL mobile details comp, then the system will search in its superclass whether the implementation is available. Yeah, if you find. Otherwise, it will search in a superclass. That's the way how the implementation goes for a method. I'm repeating it again. Initially, we have get dynamic query result in our dedicated class. So the ABAP runtime will search whether the method is implemented in CCL GENIL mobile details component. If that is not available, it will search in a superclass. If that is not available, it goes to the superclass like that. So if somebody has to implement it, otherwise it will throw a runtime error. Okay, now it is implemented in the superclass CLWCF component. Yeah, we are not worried about the code. We are just worried about the input parameter. IV query name. Any guesses for this one? Query name. So the input parameter is the query name.
So here we will pass the actual select statement. Is it like that?
You are very nearby. Just let me open a GENIL model browser so that you will get it. GENIL bold browser. Search mobiles is IV query name. The query name that we are passing is a search mobiles. So here for us, IV query name and yes query parameters. I means input, yes means structure parameters. Those are nothing but in GENIL bold browser. If we go there, yes, when we double click this structure, search mobile, this is structure, that is a query parameter. So whatever the parameters that we provide here, so that is taken as a structure and provided it to the dynamic query. Now help me with the IT selection parameters. It should be very easier for you to guess. This is a dynamic query name that we provided. This is something like the structure maximum hits whatever the value. Then what is this? Oh, you were not able to view the screen before? Just a minute. Yeah. IT selection parameter. Any guesses? Can you hint me that this is the IT selection parameter here?
This is this is a this is the third block, the dynamic query parameters, where they're passing this a low value and upper value in, right, the third block.
Yeah, absolutely. That will be going in a form of table. So that is the limit for, excuse me. Yes, that this is the selection parameter. So whatever the values that we will be providing here, that will be input values for our get dynamic query result method. And the fourth block, so simple, right? So IV root list. See, the type of IV root list is if GENIL container root, so it is a collection of object, root list, collection of root objects. So finally that will be the, in a bowl browser, the full blank, the final result will be appearing here. This is a IV root list. So query result, the input parameters, yes, we are providing from here. This is one input parameter, this is another input parameter, this is another input parameter, and this is another input parameter. Yeah, this is not the export parameter, this is the input parameter.
Devendra, can you hear me?
Yes, Rishi.
So I want to check with Vinay. When you say this, are you pointing it out with your cursor? With your,
Yes.
I'm not seeing that on my screen. So
Vinay, are you able to view my cursor?
Yes, I can. Yeah, I can.
Might be
I see. Something
problem with the network.
Okay.
But are you okay with the explanation? Like I want to make GENIL bowl browser compare with the get dynamic query result, and I want to visualize, okay, this is the area and this is the input parameter get dynamic query result.
So no, Devendra, this part actually went over my head.
Okay, no issues. Just I want to make sure that yes, from a bowl browser we are sending some data to the bowl to the GENIL layer, GENIL to our respective search, so search help, whatever the search method that we are using. And we know that dynamic which is responsible for the result. But to provide a result, I need to have some import parameter type of result what you want. So GENIL will ask to, okay, fine, you want to search. So what do you want me to search? So from a bowl, it will be sending the data in this manner. Boss, search object is search mobiles, and my query parameters are, so maximum if I make like 20, boss, so I want maximum hit as 20 only. I don't want more than. And the selection parameters, for example, consumer ID equals 147. Let's take the another one, mobile ID equals 550. Right. So these complete data should be sent to the get dynamic query result. So just I am making in an analytical way that, so block belongs to the first import parameter of the respective method. Second is the second parameter. Third one is the third import parameter, fourth one is a fourth import parameter. In the sense, like, so I have just opened the get dynamic result from my dedicated class. This is my dedicated class. This is my dedicated class because in while component I have provided zmob is my component and boss GCL GENIL mobile provided at pro level. Okay, Rishi, are you okay with that? Still it is bouncing.
Yes. Yeah, no, it's okay.
Okay, if you would try to create a component. Okay, if you try, you will get a little bit of idea about that. So this is a component. So since we have provided Z mobile and I want to fetch all the enough flow bold to GENIL the component, it goes to this respective method, get a dynamic query result. This will be fired. This just we are seeing like IV query name is a search mobile. IS query parameters that we provided at the maximum hit is equal to 20, whatever we provide in that block, yeah, that belongs to this structure. Underneath that, we have provided consumer ID equal to so and so and mobile ID is equal to so and so. That comes to this third with IT selection parameters. And the result one will be the IV root list. So this takes some input, some details from the board. That's what I was explaining about.
Got it.
So method
So
has
in general, when I'm using, sorry, Vendor, if I'm using the web UI and if I do a query in the web UI search, then all of that is put by the system in the IT selection parameters.
Absolutely, you are, yeah, that's what. If I would have shown that screen, yeah, would be much clearer for you. So if you remember the search page, there we are searching with some account ID name is equal to blah 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 blah. Then yes, so that will be coming to the IT selection, and underneath that we have defined, yes, this respective page to the query name, something like account search, account dynamic search, that we will be doing in bit of the bool programming. But exactly, yes.
Okay. And the IV root list is the results, so you said, right? IV root list
is the result, but here there is a, I would say, clause like this is an input parameter. Generally, by this explanation, what we expect, these three are the input parameters, means import parameters, and this should be the export parameter, right?
Yes.
Yes, but there is a clause. There is a clause. Yes, this is not an export parameter. This is an import parameter. Why we will just hang on for that. Yeah. Any questions?
Okay. No, the second time explanation.
Yeah. You to help me, because yes, if we visualize from the UI, whatever the criteria that gives, that will be coming into the IT selection parameter. And if you remember, we are also having maximum hits. There you can provide maximum hits for that respective page.
Yes.
So that will become a IS query parameter, and IV query name, yeah, that should come with the code. Rather than from the UI, we are not going to send anything. Right now, but if I try to do the same, will we be to get result now? So, yes, I have all these things. So, in a data table, I have provided few results for this respective table. And currently, if I say, what are your guesses? 147, yes, I have provided an entry. I said find. I should get the result, but I haven't, because we have created Z tables. So in our dedicated class, we never mentioned, boss, this is database tables, and from this you need to fetch. So we haven't mentioned. So that is fine. So that's what I'm going to do now. I am going a method get dynamic query result, because I want the result of this. For this, just go to the change mode. I am redefining it. It is already defined in a super class. I don't want that feature. I want to add any of that. So I am redefining. The code is huge, and I would be sending the code as well. And anyhow, you can check the same in the system as well. Just I'm copying the existing code. So I have a code where this is a data declaration. What I have is retrieve message container to log. This is just to send a message to the browser or web UI that, for example, if the maximum hits exceeds, yes, yeah, boss, minimum hits has been exceeded. I don't have any data more than this. For example, if you want to search like, yeah, no datable, that type of messages are handled by the global message container. We will be discussing about this later. When now it is checking for the maximum hits, so it's logically it is saying that if you have provided some value in a maximum hits, if not, I am taking it as a 100. So I am putting the default value as a 100, specifying any value in a maximum as a miss. For that logic, they have been written. Yeah, that's okay. That should be pretty simple for you if you go through the code. Query parameter name. This is the query parameter name that will be sent. So if we have multiple query parameters, for each query parameter we can write our own logic. So when search mobiles, our case is a search mobiles, then calling a method search mobiles. So this method is actually responsible to fetch the data from the database table and provide us the result. See the method search mobiles. For that we are providing IT selection parameters. We are making like account ID equal to so and so, account ID is greater than, account ID is less than, whatever. And the maximum hits. If we are providing there, fine. If we are not providing, yes, we have written a code. It should be 200. And the method takes these two values and processes as the resulted table in a LT results. So whatever the selection meters, based on that and maximum hits, we would be getting the result. So LT results. So if LT result is not initial, that means it contains some value. So there are some values, some rows which are for our selection parameters. Then passing it to the maximum hits, IV number. So there is, it's a case, generalized case, like if my maximum hit means I am providing maximum hit at the UI as 2, but I found 10 results. So for another boss, you have selected maximum hit as 2, but there are results. Yeah, if you want to view further, yes, you can view that message. For that message, the code has been written like this. So IR message container as add message type as an information. We need to create a class mobile message class MSG, and under the message number we would be under 000, we can write the message we want to display to the end user. Yes, we would be showing, but right now our concentration is more on a what get dynamic query results is, so we ignore this. I'm coming back. What search mobiles has done, it has provided us a result on our selection parameter and maximum hits. That is looped. That is, and in that we are adding the object name mobiles and every row to a root list. What we call the import para IV root list. For the IV root list, we are adding the object name mobiles and the resulted row one. Let us say example, we have 4 rows as a result of the search mobiles. Then the first entry like mobiles and the first row, and it is added as an object in the list. Kindly stop me if you are not able to, go with me. Okay, IV root list, as I told, is a list of objects, list of root objects. So for that, initially it is adding, yeah, mobiles is of the object, and boss, the result, okay, the first row will be object, and it is setting it as a root, and yeah, it is into the loop. Second row comes. Second name of the one is the mobiles, and second row entries as a object for the IV root. Okay, like this, how are there, those many objects will be created, and that many objects are pushed into the IV root list. IV root list is a now collection of all those objects. Right. Finally, it called a method get objects, and for that past IT request, yes, we will discuss about it. And at the same time they have passed IV root list. So what this contains? A group of objects that we have passed just before, that we are sending it to the get objects. Now get object responsible to fetch a complete data and provide it on the screen. If the data is not available, then we have that type of message we would be adding here. Yeah, this is, and yes, when others means have the other searches, for that respective one we would be adding logic here, and we are returning back. Yeah. Yes.
Given that why we are hard coding that mobiles one in the object, can't we get from that return list in internal table line number? I think it's around 60 to 65 in between.
Yes, yeah, 62. Line number 62. Just a minute. Line number 62, 62, 62.
Yeah, this one, 57. Sorry, 57 one.
57. See here, we are not getting, we are here, see, get dynamic query result, the where first it checks whether are available. Yes, fine. That is more than 2, it has to send a message, that type. So maximum it's that is done. The second job of get dynamic query result is to get how many number of rows and the key values. Just take key values. It is taking this of that respective table, and it is adding every entry. If we have a 10 rows, it is trying to create 10 objects and embedding it in a root list. 57 means IV list. We have the IV root list, for that it is adding the object, means one has a one object, and it is providing the name of the object as mobiles, because that is our object. So the root object name, the keys. Yeah, it is embedding. It is, if possible, tomorrow I will try to make it is in a graphical phase, how it embeds. And it is setting it as a root, because mobiles is a root object for us. So it is setting it as boss, this is the root object, because we have dependent object and another dependent object. For that case, IV root list is meant for that. Yes,
one more thing, like in Webdesign Pro we have a generate the code based on certain parameters. Suppose if I want to get or set something, we have a code wizard. Right. Like this, do we have anything for Web UI in CRM?
Web UI, yes, absolutely. We have a lot of facilities for GENIL and both, you know. But in a real time, there is a percentage of very less. If we are into the implementation, we get around, I would say, elements. One will be for the GENIL programming. I'm emphasizing more on a GENIL layer, because if we know very well the GENIL, then it is easier us to programming, and whole programming, yes, we would be writing in a Web UI. So that will not more than some 5-10 lines of code every time.
Okay.
but yeah, I know this is a tough phase for you, and if you remember, there is a time where I try to make you a difficult phase. Yeah, I know. Next 1 week will be a difficult phase for you. Might be like this is a bunch of code just I copied and pasted, and there is no other option because we need to know the complete functionality of, and this is I am making little bit complicated requirement rather than a simple requirement, so that everything will be embedded in the code, like maximum hits, the logic maximum hits, yes, fine. For the mobile searches, yes, fine. All, yeah, fine. But as of now, yes, concentrate on dynamic query result. What is this about, and what are all the functionality that it, why it is meant for, as a the import and export, and what logic using in a get dynamic query result. And I think if you have these same templates, yes, that will be useful for you. Just I am using these templates only. Yes, as of now we have done with the get dynamic query result. Tomorrow we will be revising the same, and please come up with the questions. Go through this method. First you try to create a component, blah blah blah, that copy and paste it, no problem, copy and paste it. Please go through the every line of this method. If you struck up with any line, you can send me a mail as well. Yes, I can help you. If that is a showstopper, yes, I can help you immediately. You can send me the mail, and you can screenshots if you have struck with any issues like a component or what.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I am ending now, ending the